Hey guys, thanks for joining. Okay, we're going to get started in a couple minutes. We're going to be highlighting the CPT book. Okay, and the way it works is I'll take questions throughout the live. So I'll take questions probably about like 10 after 9 and then again around like 9:25. Okay, so you can ask a question about medical coding in general or about the CPC exam. Thanks for joining, guys. All right, so we'll get started. I'm going to start on page 503. Okay, I have the 2024 book. Okay, so the first thing I do is I just highlight the first couple of words of each main CPT code. Okay, so what I mean is a code that's not indented. Okay, so just the first couple of words. Okay, the section that we're in is eye and ocular agnexa. Okay, and then after I do that, I go back and I link the codes together that are indented with the code above it, so it's easier to read the code description. Okay, now you could have your book highlighted like this when you take the CPC exam. Okay, you could have notes in your book. Okay, and then the last thing I do on each page is I just go back and circle what's in parentheses. Okay, the stuff in parentheses, a lot of times it will give you, more directions, or sometimes it talks about modifiers. It just gives more information so you don't want to miss it, so that is why I like to circle it. Now, if you find a way to highlight the book that's easier for you, then do that. Okay, this is just the way that I do it, and this is the way that I teach my students to do it. Okay, so that's what the page looks like, and that's pretty much what I do all throughout the book. Excuse me. All right. Thanks for joining, guys. Okay, you also could have your book tabbed like this for the CPC exam. Okay, I think it helps you code faster and, find codes quicker. Now remember, for the exam, you only have 4 hours to answer 100 multiple choice questions. Okay, so it's important to, save time when you can. All right, the tabs can be found in my TikTok shop. Okay, again, so what I do is I just highlight the first couple of words of each main code. So a code that is not indented. Okay, code 65757 has a plus sign next to it. Okay, remember that's an add-on code. Okay, an add-on code cannot be coded by itself. Okay, so just the first couple of words of each main code. Okay, then I go back and I group the codes together that are indented with the code above it. So 65710, I just group together with all the codes down to 65756. Okay, 65778 and 65779 I group together. Okay, and 65780 I just group with the codes below it that are indented. Okay, and then I go back and I circle what's in parentheses. Okay, if you're someone out there who's taking a coding course now, I suggest you do this while you are going through your coding course. Okay, you could save it to do, once you're done the course, but then I feel like that would kind of be a lot to do at one time. So I always recommend to my students, when they're going through the course to, do this, while they're still taking the course. Guys, hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back.
So I kind of just peeled my guts out. I made it to the bathroom. I'm great, but that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm on my live right now. Do you need me right now?
No.
Okay. I'll get you when I'm done. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Again, so that was page 505. Okay, I'm going to do one more page and then I will stop and see if you guys have any questions. Okay, so if you have a question, just save it another couple of minutes because I can't really see my phone that good when I'm highlighting my book. All right. So again, I just circle I highlight the first words of each main code here. Okay, these are just regular highlighters. Okay, it doesn't bleed through to the back of the pages. Okay, and then I group the codes together that go together. Oh, I missed one. Now remember, for the exam, you don't have to memorize anything. Okay, you are allowed to have your 3 coding books with you when you take the exam. Okay, but you can't have pencil and paper. Okay, the exams are on the computer now. All right, and then I go back and circle what's in parentheses. All right, so this is page 506. All right, so that's what the page looks like. Hopefully you guys can see that. All right, I'll take a break now. If any of you guys have any questions about, medical coding in general or the CPC exam. Okay, if you're someone out there who's looking to take a medical coding course, I do teach a course and it starts in January. Okay, you can find more information about that on my website. The link's in my bio. Does anyone have any questions about the CPC exam or medical coding in general, or about, CPT coding? Thanks for joining, guys. Oh, I saw a comment, but I missed it. I'm sorry. Where are the CPC exams taken? Okay, you have 2 choices when you sign up for the exam. Okay, you could take the exam at a testing center. Okay, and there's different testing centers like all over. Okay, or you can take the exam from home. Now, if you take the exam from home, there are requirements, like you'll have to have an external web camera, and there will be a proctor, talking to you, and watching you take the exam. Okay, so whatever you decide is up to you, and you'll decide when you sign up. Next question. Okay, the 2024 books, can you use for the test in 2025? Yes. Okay, AAPC allows you to go back 1 year. So if you're taking the exam in 2025, you are allowed to use 2024 books. Okay, is it open book? Yes, you're allowed to use your coding books. Okay, you're allowed the ICD-10 book, the CPT book, which is this one here, and the HCPCS book. Okay, you're allowed to have tabs on your books. You're allowed to have notes in your book. Okay. Another question, what other tools are you allowed to use? Okay, for the CPC exam, that's it. You're only allowed to use your books. There's your 3 coding books for the exam. Now, once you're coding in the real world, it's much different. Okay, you're allowed to have, you can use an encoder to help you. There's other tools out there once you're out there in the real world. But for the exam, you have to use the book. Oh, I missed the question. I'm sorry. These are going too fast. It was something about the coding course. I think it was, is my course online? I think is what the question was. Okay, my coding course is online. Okay, but there's live instruction. Okay, there's 1 Zoom meeting a week for an hour and a half. Okay, but not all coding courses are set up that way. Okay, some courses do not have any live instruction at all. Okay, but I think live instruction is really important, so that is why I structured, my program that way. Okay, which is the main book that you use? Okay, well, you would use the CPT book, which are all procedure codes in here, and the ICD-10-CM book, which is all diagnosis codes. Okay, so those are the 2 main books that you use. There is also a smaller book, the HCPCS book, which are like supply codes. The question was if your course counts the same as an online program. I teach the course, my curriculum is from AAPC. Okay, so I don't know what you really mean by that. You could read more about my course on my website. Okay, and the link to that is in my bio. Okay, I'll take one more question if you guys have another question, and then we will get back to highlighting the book. You're struggling with anatomy and okay. So anatomy and physiology, sometimes those are prerequisites. There are a couple of questions on the exam, on the CPC exam, on that. So to get a full breakdown of how the exam is broken down, you can go to the AAPC website and you will see, how many questions there are. So can you use the ICD-CM expert or the CPT book? Okay, so on the AAPC website, it does tell you which books you are allowed to use and which books you are not allowed to use. Okay, for the ICD-10 book, okay, I'll show you guys the ICD-10 book. Okay, this is the ICD-10 book. This is the 2025 from AAPC. And you could use any edition. So the question was, can you use the expert for ICD-10? And you can. Okay, so you could use, this is the AAPC publisher. Okay, you can use Optum. Okay, for the ICD-10 book, as long as it's, current year or 1 year back, it doesn't matter what year you use. Okay, but for the CPT book, is where there's more requirements. So for the CPT book, which is this one, you have to use the professional edition, which is the book that I have. Okay, there are other editions out there, but this is the only one that they will allow you to use. And you can use 1 year back. Okay, so if you're taking the exam in 2025, you still can use the 2024 book, but it has to be professional edition. Okay, and you can find this on the AAPC website. All right, so we're going to get back to highlighting the book. I will take more questions in a couple of minutes. Okay, I am on page 507. So again, I just highlight the first couple of words of the main CPT codes. Okay, and then I go back and I group the codes together that are indented with the code above it. So 66174 is linked with 66175 because 66175 is indented. Oh, I missed one. Okay, 66184 I group with 66185. 66500 and 66505 are linked together. Then I go back and circle what's in parentheses. All right, so that is what that page would look like. Okay, now I'm on page 508. Okay, now some people like to, use more than one highlighter, like their color code their books and all that. I mean, you could do that if you want. Okay, I just don't, but I mean, that's something you can do. Okay, and then I just group the codes together that are indented. Oops, I screwed this one up. Should be like that. Okay, so 66840 links with all the codes below it there. And then I go back and circle what's in parentheses. Okay, now I'm on page 509. All right, I don't know why I have that like that. That must be from a long time ago. I don't know why I did that. All right. So again, just highlight the first couple of words of each main code. And then I link together the codes that are indented with the code below it. Then I circle what's in parentheses. Okay, after I do this page, I'll stop and take more questions. Okay, so that's what that page would look like. Like that. Okay. All right, so does anyone else have any questions about the CPC exam or medical coding? Okay, you could have the books tabbed like this. Okay, the tabs that I make here are double-sided. Okay, you can find those in my TikTok shop. Thanks for joining, everyone. Are there pharmacology? No, there's not. There's no pharmacology questions on the exam. Okay, there might be a question that has to do with the codes for supplies and things, but that's not really what you're asking, I don't think. Okay, if you guys go to the AAPC website, you'll see, a complete breakdown of how the exam, what the questions are like. Okay, so is there a course you have to take? Okay, there are many different coding courses out there. Okay, so I always just encourage people, before you decide on a course to take, look at the differences between each class, see what is included, and, see if it's what you want to do. My coding course is 16 weeks, and it will prepare you to take the CPC exam from AAPC. Now, just make sure whatever course you take prepares you for an exam from either AAPC or AHEMA. Okay, there are courses out there that prepare you for exams that, are from other organizations that employers, don't accept those certifications from. So make sure whatever course you sign up for prepares you for an exam from AAPC or AHEMA. Okay, most new coders usually start with the CPC, which is from AAPC. But another thing you can do is do a job search, just to see what what employers are looking for in your area. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Okay, so we will get back to highlighting the book. Okay, I will take questions again in a couple of more minutes. Okay, so now I am going to be on page 510. I'm trying to put this so you guys can see. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight the first couple of words of each main code. Now, if you see codes in red like this, like 66987, okay, these codes are all out of order. Okay, you'll see sometimes in the book that, it looks like this code should go here, 66987, but if it's in red, it's telling you that that's not where it is. Okay. 66990 has a plus sign in front of it. Okay, that's an add-on code. Okay, an add-on code has to be coded with something else. It cannot be coded by itself. Okay, you don't have to memorize anything for the CPC exam or for medical coding in general. Okay, once you're out on the job, okay, you don't have to have anything memorized, but you do need to know, how to use your books and how to find codes. Okay, you will need to understand medical terminology, but you could write notes about that in your, either your ICD-10 book or CPT book. Okay, so now I'm just going back and circling what's in parentheses. Okay, so that was page 510. Okay, now I'm on page 511. Highlighting the first couple of words. Okay, then I'm just grouping the codes together. So 67101 and 67105 are grouped together. Okay, then I go back and circle anything in parentheses. Okay, so that page would look like that. Okay, I see a question. Can we have marked up books like this to sit for the RHIT? Okay, that's a HEMA certification, so I'm not really sure. Okay, you'd have to check the AHEMA website. Okay, my certifications are from AAPC, and I, teach the AAPC program, so that is what I'm familiar with. I'm not that familiar with AHEMA, so I don't really know. Okay, I'm on page 512. Okay, we'll do 2 more pages, and then I will take questions. Okay, so I'm just highlighting the first couple of words of each main code. Okay, and then I link the codes together that go together. Okay, code 67225 is an add-on code. Okay, and then I circle what's in parentheses. Okay, so that's page 512. Okay, there's only a couple of codes on this page. This is page 513. Okay, just 2 codes. Okay, so I would just leave it like that. Okay, so that's it for tonight. Okay, does anyone else have any questions about medical coding or the CPC exam? Okay, I will be live again next Monday from 9 to 9:30. And I will be, highlighting the CPT book. My live schedule is every Monday from 9 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And, I highlight the CPT book and answer questions. I also have a subscription only live from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. And my subscription lives are, I do fill in the blank medical coding questions. Okay, so to join that live, you'll have to subscribe, and the link to that is in my bio. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Okay, I see a couple of you guys are taking classes already and you're getting ready for your exam. That's good. Good luck, guys. Okay, I see another comment. I have a degree, but I was not able to get the test. Yeah, the CPC exam is difficult. Okay, a lot of people don't pass because they run out of time. Okay, so that is why I suggest to people to, tab their books, highlight their books, anything you can do to save time, will help you, because you only have 4 hours to answer 100 questions. I see someone say, can you message me more information? You could email me. My email is lindsay@midnightmedicalcoding.com, or you could send me a message, through TikTok here, and we can talk more. That's not true. The comment, medical coding is going to be AI. Okay, that is not true. Okay, medical coding, there has been encoders for a long time. Okay, and computers make mistakes all the time. Okay, I worked as an auditor for many years before I got into teaching, and I did audits of, practices that used, encoders to code, and there were a lot of mistakes. So there will always be a need for medical coders. Okay, someone says too much tabbing will also slow you down. Okay, that's just an opinion. Okay. Someone says can't find any job in this field. I wouldn't recommend. Okay, that's also an opinion. Okay, is 100 questions for AAPC the same amount for AHEMA? Okay, that I don't know. Okay, you'd have to check out the AHEMA website. Okay, what's your opinion on billing? Okay, billing is an entry-level position. Okay, you do not need a certification to do billing. Okay, if you do a job search, you'll see that a lot of times, you might need experience, but you don't need a certification. Okay, so I think it's a good place to start. See another question. 2 times a year you will have to tab new books. Yeah, if you're using the books and you like the tabs, you'll have to put the tabs on every time you get a new book. Yep. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? What's my opinion on billing versus coding, I think is the question. Okay, so I've always worked in coding, and I loved coding. Okay, like I said, I worked as a coder and auditor for many years before I got into teaching, so I personally like that better. But a lot of people start in billing, and it's a good place to start if you want to work up to coding. Should I try to get a billing job while I'm in coding school? You definitely can. Someone says I missed it. It was someone who was brain fried from doing coding for too long. Yeah, that definitely does happen, especially when you're learning. Someone's Beely says, I'm a coder. I love it, but it's not for everyone. Yeah, that's definitely true too. Coding, you definitely have to have a certain mindset. I could see how some people might not like it, but I love it. I've always liked it. Do you think we will ever go to ICD 11? I mean, probably. I think so, probably. I don't know when, though. I remember when ICD 10 came out, it was delayed over and over, so it took a long time to even get to ICD 10, so I don't know. When I learned coding, I learned ICD 9, so I'm old. Where can you get this book? Okay, the CPT book is from Amazon, or you can get it from AAPC. Okay, the tabs don't come with the book, though. The tabs I make and sell, and they're in my TikTok shop. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Okay, I'm currently in medical billing, trying to transition to coding. Any free websites? I don't know. Free websites for what, though? To try to learn coding? Say, if you're trying to learn coding, there are practice tests from AAPC you can buy. I'm not really sure if I answered your question there. Okay, I'm a medical assistant and ready for a change. Where should I start? Okay, the first thing you should do is, I always recommend, again, just do a job search and see what certifications different employers are looking for in your area. Okay, you most likely will see that they are looking for the CPC certification. Okay, so, I'm not sure exactly what your background is, but, if you're not familiar with coding at all, you would need to take a coding course to learn it. Okay, so obviously, I like my medical coding course, but there are others out there, so you'd have to do your research and see which course you'd like to take. Do I have a tutorial on how to tab books? Yes, there are a couple of videos I have out there. If you check in my playlists for ICD-10 coding, okay, I believe I have some videos in that playlist. Okay, I see you guys are talking a little bit, so we're just going to stay on a couple more minutes. Okay, what would you recommend for ICD-10 books? Should I get the books from Bucks? That would be up to you. I like the books from AAPC, but I used to use the books from Optum for a long time. I never really used the Bucks coding books. Okay, so I'm not really, I'm not really familiar with them. Not familiar with them. Okay, I completed a billing and coding class in 2022. Are the hours still valid? Okay, so if you have a certificate, and, your course was 80 hours long, that is when AAPC, counts the course towards counts the course towards removal of A status, I think is what your question is asking there. So I would say that it is, but again, I'm not AAPC, so you'd have to make sure that it still counts towards removal of A status through them. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Any tips for cardiovascular coding? Okay, not really. Cardiovascular coding is very difficult. I would say that most of my students say that that is the most challenging part of learning coding and CPT coding. So I would say, spend time just reading over that section of CPT, highlight your book. If your goal is someday to be a cardiovascular coder, okay, AAPC does have a different certification for that. They have the CERC certification, which is another, a really, really hard certification. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if that's what you're looking at, you'll need more education to be a cardiovascular coder. It's really difficult. Is it possible to land a job with no experience? Okay, yes, it is possible. Okay, it is possible. Okay, there are some employers that will hire coders with the CPCA status. Okay, so CPCA means you do not have any experience. Okay, I recommend that if you have no experience to look for a coding job that's on site. Okay, there are coders who work on site. Okay, not every medical coder works from home. And I think if you're willing to work on site, you're more likely to get a coding job with no experience. And I also recommend to my students to look at jobs that are in the revenue cycle that are similar to coding but not actually coding, such as billing or someone who works denials. Okay, anything that you work with codes, even if it's a different part of the revenue cycle, okay, that is a good stepping stone to get a coding job. Someone says, my goal is radiology coding. I love radiology coding. Okay, that is what I coded and audited for a really long time. It's my favorite as well. Can I be a coder in dermatology? Yeah, you can be a coder for, a dermatologist. Am I on any other platforms? Yeah, I have a YouTube. Okay, but most of my videos are here on TikTok, but I do have a YouTube. I do have a podcast that I just started doing. I have my website. I'm on Etsy. I'm on TikTok Shop. I mean, you can find me in a lot of different places if you just Google Midnight Medical Coding. Okay, someone says go for inpatient coding. That's where the money is. Yes, inpatient coders do very well. That is true. Is it true you need an associate's for inpatient coding? Okay, that inpatient coding is more of the AHIMA side. So again, you'd have to check out the AHIMA website or, inpatient coding positions and see. Okay, is there any type of aid for my coding class? I do not have any financial aid, but I do offer the pay later option through PayPal. So if you're eligible for that, you don't have to pay the full price at once. Okay, I see you guys are still talking, so we're going to stay on a couple more minutes. Do I need a degree to become an auditor? Okay, that's a good question. Technically, you do not need a degree. Okay, you would just need, I did auditing and I did not even have the auditing certification. Okay, there is an auditing certification though. It really just depends. Okay, I do have my bachelor's though, but not in coding. Okay, my bachelor's is in education. Okay, what are your thoughts on Practicode? Okay, I kind of have mixed feelings about the Practicode. Okay, for those of you not familiar with it, the Practicode is something that AAPC offers where you code 600 reports and you have to get a 70% or higher on it, and it will help you remove the A status. Now, this is something that takes months to do. It's not a test, but it's like a program that they offer. The Practicode, it is tough. So if you're going from, only doing multiple choice questions to doing the Practicode, it's going to be an adjustment, and it's going to be kind of hard to do. It's not something that is included in my course, because I have found that I'd say half my students might want to do it and the other half does not want to do it. So it is not included in my program. So it's kind of an individual decision. Okay, but I heard it is tough though. Okay, is it worth it to pay for the Practicode after or before getting certified? Okay, again, that's just an opinion. I do not include it in my program. So if you were to sign up for my coding course, it is something you would, if you wanted it, you would get it after you're certified through AAPC. Okay, but if it's worth it beforehand, that would be up to you. I don't know. I always encourage people to wait a little bit and see if that's something they want to do after the coding course. Okay, any advice on getting a job after earning the CCS? No coding experience. Okay, with the CCS, I mean, it would be, my advice would still be the same. Look for jobs that are similar to coding to maybe start out with. Okay, but again, I don't have the CCS. I don't have a HEMA certification, so I'm not really sure. I don't really like to give advice about that because it's not what my certifications are. Okay, does the CPC exam have anything about billing or insurance? Okay, there's really no insurance questions on there. There are a couple of questions where it might say, a Medicare patient, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it mentions Medicare. Okay, but there's no specific questions about insurances. Okay, what is the hourly rate for a coder? Okay, again, that kind of depends where you live, and it depends what kind of coding you do. It depends how much experience you have. Okay, so there really is not an answer that, a straight answer for that question. Okay, what similar jobs to coding do you recommend aside from billing? Okay, so I would say like a scheduling job, or even if it's a job just in a hospital. Okay, so if you can get a job in a hospital, and you'd have to make sure that their coding department is in their hospital. But if you get a job in a hospital and the coding department is there, okay, you'll see coding positions that are posted, before they're posted out to the public. So if you live near a hospital that has their coding department, in the hospital or on site, I would recommend, working in a hospital. I know a lot of people have found coding positions that way. Okay, I personally did not, because all the hospitals by me at the time, when I was first getting into the field, all of their coding departments were, outsourced to coding companies. So for me, it didn't make sense to work at a hospital, but I know a lot of people have though. Okay, again, or you could look at, smaller doctors' offices. Okay, sometimes they're willing to hire somebody with, a little bit less experience. You kind of have to do your homework a little bit and just kind of see what's out there. Okay, another thing you can do is network with other coders online, or at AAPC meetings. Do you think it's easy to go from coding in one department to another? If I think what you mean is like switching specialties, I think is what your question is. I would say, I'm just being honest, I think that's difficult. Okay, I'm not going to say it's impossible. Okay, but it is hard. I mean, usually once you get experience in one specialty, you kind of stay in that for a while. But if you work for a coding company where the company codes a whole bunch of different specialties, if you're already working, say you're working in radiology, say, and you're working for a coding company and they know you and they're like, oh, hey, we just got this new client and, they're EM coding. Okay, in that case, you can switch to a different specialty. Okay, that's how I was able to switch specialties. But again, kind of just depends where you work. Okay, someone says, I'm thinking of going to my next AAPC chapter meeting to network. Yeah, definitely. If you can catch an AAPC meeting, it's a great way to network and meet other coders. Okay, how does it work if I don't test until 2025 but still have 2024 books? Okay, so if you're testing in 2025, you can use the 2024 books. Okay, it's up to you if you want to purchase 2025. Just for the exam. If you have your books, tabbed and highlighted and everything, you don't have to buy new books. Okay, I'm currently doing an associate's degree on medical coding. Any advice on what to do next? I'm not sure. It depends what your goals are. Oh, I saw a question. Does your course count as a year off A status? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because I teach the curriculum from AAPC. Okay, so I license it from AAPC, and what that means is I license it and I could take that curriculum and put it, and present it, the best way that I see fit and put it into my own program. So yes, my course does count towards removal of A status. Okay, so I saw a couple of questions and they went too fast on the screen. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm missing your question. Okay, this live was supposed to end at 9:30, but I'm just staying on because you guys are chatting with each other, which is good. And you guys have questions tonight, which is good. What's the exam format of the CPC? It's multiple choice. I wish I could afford your classes. I already tried the pay later. Okay, yeah, the pay later option. Not everybody is eligible for it. It's between you and PayPal directly. Like I wouldn't even see whether or not you're eligible for it. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's the only option I have right now to, for a pay later. Will the multiple choice be removed from the CPC exam in 2025? Not that I know of. Okay, it still should be the same. I did hear a while back that they were going to add some, fill in the blank type questions, but I have not heard anything else about that in a while. All right, so once I hear anything about that, they do let instructors know, and I will pass that information on to you guys once I find out anything. But I have not heard anything about that. Okay, I do not think they're removing multiple choice answers, no. Okay, you did your third practice test today, and 3/4 questions were fill in the blanks. Wow, okay. Okay, I'll have to I can check with my rep from AAPC and see where they're at with the exam. Okay, best way to motivate yourself for the test. I mean, I really think you just have to practice, practice and, get used to doing the process of elimination to get the correct answers so you feel comfortable going into the test. How long have you been offering your instruction? Oh, and I think the rest of that question was, what's your pass rate? Okay, my pass rate is about, I'd say it's about 80%. Okay, it's about 80%. And I've been teaching the CPC course for, it's almost been a year. Okay, so I've only been teaching this course a year, but before that, I've done tutoring, for many years. I taught ICD-10 coding for many years. And my bachelor's is in education. So way before I got into coding, I used to be a teacher. I used to work with the 5th grade. That feels like a different lifetime, though. That was a very long time ago. So I've been teaching for many years. Okay, how much is my class? It's $2,875. Okay, but it includes a lot of different things, though. Okay, it includes, not only the course, but the 3 coding books, your CPC exam vouchers, the CPC study guide. It includes the tabs for the books, and it includes the medical terminology guide. And my class also includes live instruction, which I think is really, really important. And my next course starts in January. Do I have a podcast? Yes, I do. I just started it probably like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, you did probably see it because it's posted all over. Anywhere you can hear a podcast, you'd see it. Okay. Vanessa says she loves the tabs. You bought them for the 2024 books. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like them. I'm glad they're helping. Okay, how much is my class? It's $2,875. Okay, but again, it includes a lot of different things. Okay, my class is 16 weeks. Okay, and my class is very structured, so my students go through the course, everybody at the same pace. Okay, I'm getting my HIT degree and medical coding certificate. What else is next? Okay, it really just depends what you want to do. Okay, if you have a degree, I don't know if you want to go into, management or something. I'm not sure what you want to do. Are the 2025 tabs available? Yes, they are on my website. And it is also in my TikTok shop. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a weird message on my phone here from TikTok. Hold on. Okay, I have no idea what that was. TikTok just made me touch something on my phone here. I don't know if my live, I think they're making my live end soon, maybe. I'm not sure, guys, what's going on here. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, when does the next class start? It starts in January. Okay, does your course come with the books? Yes, it does. It comes with the 3 coding books. Okay. Yes, my class will meet through Zoom. Okay, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the January class will be on Thursdays. Okay, how do you get approved to teach? Okay, well, there are a couple of requirements. You have to have whatever certification you're teaching for, you have to have that certification. So, example, I teach the CPC certification. I have to have the CPC certification myself. And then you also have to become an approved instructor, which is another certification from AAPC. And there's a short class that you take for that. And then you take the certification exam. And then if you pass, you will have the approved instructor certification. Okay, then you could license the curriculum from AAPC if you'd like, and, put your course together. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining, everyone. Okay, I will be live again next Monday from 9 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be continuing to highlight the CPT book. If you think of any questions between now and then, always feel free to email me. My email is lindsay@midnightmedicalcoding.com. All right, guys, thanks for joining. I will talk to all of you later. Have a good night.